We got Danielle Llewellyn, who is finally on. I've been trying to get you on for a little bit, but you're on now, and it's a pleasure to have you. How you doing?
Thanks. Doing real good. Doing real good. Just had a great practice this weekend, so
So before we
feeling it
get,
today.
oh, that's great. Before we get started, just two things we got to do. The first thing is we both have the same shirt on. We did
Yeah, we
not
do.
plan this.
This
We
was
did
not
not.
planned.
We did not plan this. 98% has just got my shirt today. The other
98.
thing, the other thing is, Danielle, please tell people to subscribe and like to Serious and Silliness YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, seriousness and silliness. Check out what this guy does. If you're in the strength community, bodybuilding, fitness community, he's gonna have content that
That's
you'll want
right.
to see.
Thank you very much. So I just came back from my first arm wrestling practice, but I didn't practice. I just took footage,
Yeah.
and it was with the High Five Club, which is 5 minutes from me.
Did
And
you
I
say
did.
your first arm wrestling practice?
Yeah, I've never been to an arm wrestling practice
Because
before.
you've done a lot of arm wrestling interviews.
Yeah. I went on
Get
tournament.
out.
I went to tournaments, but I've never been to a practice.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting to go to a practice, and then David Shell
Right on.
messaged me and said, "There's a practice right by you, like 2 miles away," and he goes, "I'm going to be there." So I said, "I'll bring your shirt," which is how I got my shirt. So it was pretty cool. I went and I got a bunch of footage, and I'm going to make a montage for it, and we'll see. Maybe I didn't want to interrupt their practice. I said maybe next time I'll go. I'll ask him to show me
Yeah.
and see how it goes. Because I never arm wrestled before.
Did you do it that day?
No, I did not do it today. I did not do it. I just basically, like, I'm a YouTuber. I'll just take footage, but I'm kind of starting to get like, maybe I might want to give this a shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, let's talk about you. Okay. How long have you been a professional arm wrestler for?
Oh, I don't know what necessarily constitutes professional, but I got into actually doing the sport in March 2020 was what
Really?
happened. Yeah. So it's pretty recent. So I'm still kind of in that beginner 2-year window in arm wrestling, but it was a really lucky break, if you will. I was at the Arnold Classic for a grip competition. Rogue Record Breakers was doing their first year of their anvil lift, and I qualified for that, so went there. And that was 1 week before the COVID shutdown.
Mhm.
And so all the arm wrestlers were there for the Arnolds, and then the arm wrestling got canceled. So all the arm wrestlers are still there. Now I'm into grip, I'm into strongman, into powerlifting. So I followed arm wrestlers, even though I didn't do it, never done it.
Mhm.
So I see Devin puts on one of his Instagram stories that, Devin Larrett, that, well, we're still going to be arm wrestling. We're going to be at this bar doing arm wrestling. And I was like, oh, you know what? That is right down the street from where my hotel is, because it's right next to the convention center. It's like, well, I'll stop by there, do the fan thing, say hello, have a beer, get a photo, head out, cool. But Devin does that thing that he does where there's a line of people all, looking to come up and arm wrestle him. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just get in the line just for fun. And so I did that, and immediately I just got addicted. And then all the arm wrestlers that were there were so accommodating and helpful. They helped me get plugged into Wisconsin arm wrestling. Veronica Knight out of California, she really helped me out. Joseph Jellick with NBK was there, so met him then. It was just a really cool opportunity. Arm Assassin, Lucas Raymond, he was
I've heard
also
of that.
participating in the same grip competition that I was, and he's an arm wrestler, so that was kind of a fun connection to make. And it was like from that moment, arm wrestling became part of my major focus.
Okay.
So
Well,
lucky.
let's back up a bit, because I knew that you were into powerlifting and strongman. I didn't know how deep you were into it. So tell me how far did you go with strongman and powerlifting?
So powerlifting was kind of my gateway drug into just strength.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, I started just thinking I should be a little healthier, and I'm 5'8", about 165 right now, and I got, just by trimming up diet and doing yoga and stuff, I got down to 123 pounds. I was pretty skinny.
Wow, really?
I was like, yeah. So I was like, well, now I kind of want to be strong. So I bought a barbell, squat rack, and a bench, stuck it in my basement, and through YouTube, just kind of started
That's how it
benching,
starts.
squatting, and deadlifting. And then the strength, just putting 5 pounds on the bar each time became an addiction. And then through TV, I've always admired strongman and always wanted to lift an Atlas stone, but no idea where to even start doing that. And I met a girl who said, "Oh, me and my boyfriend, we do strongman in our garage, but no one ever comes and trains with us." And I was like, "I will." She's like, "Nah." I'm like, "No, I will, I promise." So I went over there and they had Atlas stones, and I picked one up and I was like, "Yeah, this is
Awesome.
what I want to do." I found a gym in my area that just so happened to have them, and so for the last, it's been almost 3 years now that I've been doing strongman, and I'm still doing it with a high competitive focus. I competed this year at nationals, and I qualified to do it again next year. So those are big goals of mine right now. I want a podium finish.
That's fantastic. So that's strongman. Now, how far have you taken it with powerlifting, and what kind of powerlifting did you do?
So I've only did one official USAPL meet in 2019 in January. Now one of my friends that I lift with, she's a powerlifter. Her name is Annie Smith, and I also got her into arm wrestling. I persuaded her to do a strongman comp with me because she's so strong in October. So she's like, "Well, I'm doing a powerlifting meet in January." So just now I'm like, "Fine, I'll do that powerlifting meet with you." So January 22nd, I'll be doing another powerlifting meet. So I'm actually prepping for that right now. I haven't been benching or squatting in the last 8 months because you never have to do that in strongman. And now I'm back to it. Squatting sucks.
Yeah, it really does. What's funny is squatting was always my strongest movement.
Oh, I'm jealous.
So what kind of numbers, and do you do raw or equipped powerlifting?
Raw. Yeah.
Okay.
Raw powerlifting. So best numbers, 440 deadlift.
That's impressive.
It's a poverty squat compared to that, though. 315 is the highest I've ever squatted, and 210-pound bench. So,
but it makes sense that your deadlift is your best lift.
Strongman's all picking stuff up. I love.
Well, not only that, but genetically, you're tall, and usually tall people are better with deadlifting than they are squatting or bench press. With me, I'm the same height as you, so I'm considered short for a man.
Sure.
So my squat is my best.
That makes sense. The moment arms are just so much wider to squat. Yeah.
And my deadlift just always sucked. It's just always the case. But I find that fascinating. For some reason, I admire women that are into the power sports greatly. And if anybody's ever watched my channel, I interview a ton of female athletes in the power sports. So I've had Rita West, obviously. She's like, she's at this point, she's a friend to the show. But awesome. I've had a ton of them on. Yeah. So anyway, so you go from that to you were from powerlifting to strongman to arm wrestling, and now you're kind of doing back to powerlifting and strongman. And you're kind of keeping everything intertwined. Yeah.
So strongman also morphed into like a really easy way to also get into grip, because if you're doing strongman, you're basically already doing grip. So
explain that, because I never heard of that before.
Yeah. So arm lifting is basically, it's like a subset of strongman, but it's everything from like the elbow down. So if you've ever seen like recently Juji Mufu or Larry Wheels on their channels, you've probably seen them lift, like they've been doing some rolling thunder, like hub lifting, which is like an implement that's meant to imitate the center ring of a plate. There were those Captains of Crush grippers. I think a lot of people in the strength community have probably seen those grippers before. Pinch blocks. Also, I mentioned the reason I was at the Arnold's in the first place was for an anvil lift. So like an anvil has a horn shaped on the end of it. So there's a grip implement to. Iron Mind's got one. Rogue made one. There's dozens of others out there that exist, but those are probably the most recognizable. So I just really got addicted into doing that. I've got a collection now of grip implements as well. And that also, I think, turned really well into arm wrestling because while grip and arm wrestling aren't the same, they're definitely cousins. So if
Right.
one is strong, the other benefits, I found.
Okay. All
So.
right. So tell me some of the great arm wrestling tournaments or wins have you had?
Let's see. This year in 2020, I had a really cool opportunity at Wisconsin State tournament. There's a great competitor. Her name is Marilyn Elder. She was #1 ranked in TAL 2020, 2021. I don't remember which year there, but she agreed to come have a super match with me, to come all the way from Texas State in Wisconsin. And she super fierce competition. Like it was so close. I feel like if we did a super match and then a week later did another super match, like the result could be different. You know what I mean? Like it was, that was probably one of my biggest, like I did end up winning that one on that day. But for me, that was a pretty, my as far as super matches go, that was my first like big thrill, if you will.
Okay.
The first time I pulled Wisconsin State, that was so that was 2021. The first time I pulled Wisconsin State was 2020. So I got into arm wrestling the first time in March. Wisconsin State was that June. And I was like, you know what? I've never competed. I've been to like 2 practices, but I met up with a team called Milwaukee Mayhem that I joined up with. I'm like, screw it. We'll just go. And then I ended up winning the overall, and it was like, great, I found a sport. We're
That's
sticking
fantastic.
with it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that was really special. Kind of like really helped light a fire that okay, let's see where this can go. You know.
Okay.
So
Tell me, out of all 3, powerlifting, strongman, arm wrestling, do you have people that you admire within the sport that you look to of all 3? So just run down the list. Who do you admire and try to emulate and whatnot?
Yeah. So strongman, I love the Stoltman brothers, Tom and Luke Stoltman. JF Caron, Martins Lises. You of course get your Hafthors and Eddie, although with their recent drama, I'm a little more like, get that over with first, guys.
I know. Yeah.
I think I might have already mentioned Alexei Novikov, but in grip, I recently had the pleasure in California to meet Ode Haugen, who's been both in strongman and grip, kind of someone I look up to and always wanted to meet. He's started USA arm lifting here. Arm lifting is still pretty young as a United States sport, and they kind of officially made it an official organization here in the United States, which Ode is responsible for. I believe he still has the world record for most times lifting the Thomas Inch dumbbell in a minute.
What is a Thomas Inch dumbbell?
The Thomas Inch dumbbell is a 172-pound dumbbell with a little over a 2.5 inch grip. So it's about the size of a soda can or a beer can. And it's really hard to pick up with one hand because nothing about it helps you. You got to pick it up and it just wants to peel your fingers right open. So I'd say like, it's one of those few men and no boys kind of lifts.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I know O's in, I forget it now if I think he's in his upper 60s, I think right now.
Really? Wow.
And guy has the world record, and most times he's picked that up in a minute.
Okay.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right.
Arm wrestling kind of started for me, I think, because Devin Larratt has that social media presence.
Yes.
That was kind of the gateway drug into learning about arm wrestling. And then from there, it was a really, really easy to find, like, just as a fan, like your John Bursanks, your Micah Yellows, your, just the guy, the Marcio Barboza. But then personally, it got really cool just when I actually started to get to meet more people and interact online with more people. I've gotten to chat a few times online with Nancy Locke, she's
great.
crazy cool.
she's been on my show twice. She is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have her on again.
I had a chance to meet Eric Spoto and Brandon Allen as well when I was in Vegas, and that was fantastic. I got a little bit of time to pull with Bob Brown, and that was invaluable. But I recently just got to meet John Brzenk 2 days ago, so that was
actually, yeah. Was it you that put a picture up? I think you put a picture up, right? Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I've gotten really, and then a couple weeks before that, Monster Michael Todd was in town.
Yeah, he's cool. I actually got a pleasure. Jesus Christ. I had the pleasure of interviewing him actually too. And I met him in person at the Olympia. Great dude.
Yeah. It was really fun once you get to interact with the people and you get to feel out the person a little more, and then that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I enjoyed that.
So now you have a big match coming up in January?
March 12th. Winter Blast. I think it's Sue Fisher and 98% events in Philly.
And you'll be going up against
Martha Swick.
Oh, for some reason I thought that was January. Okay, now that makes sense that you said, how about we do this closer to the event? Okay, so it's March. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, why don't you tell us how that happened and who Martha Swick is?
So, what's funny? I didn't know a whole lot until it was offered to me, and then I looked her up, and I was like, "Holy shit, this girl is a tank! Hell yes!" It's like one of those things where you see your opponent and you're like a little bit scared, and then you're like, "Let's go!"
Yeah. Sure.
I think it was Chuck Bardo who made that. Was like. Because we were chatting about it on one of the 98% Zoom chats we were in. And I said, you know what, guys, like, what's the next event I should go to? And Ryan immediately was like, March 12th. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's put it in the books. They're like, we should find a super match for you. We threw out a few names, and I'm 98% sure it was Chuck who said Martha. And I quick looked her up because I knew her name. I just wanted to make sure, I made that connection, because she doesn't have a whole ton of videos that I could find out there. I was trying to spy, get a little. Of course, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, when it comes to as far as where I'm at with pulling, someone could find out pretty easily. I really don't hide any content, so I'm pretty easy to figure out if you look up my matches. But
well, yeah, I mean, that's the way to go. I mean, especially if you're trying to get endorsements, make a living, make some money, you got to be on social media. You have no choice.
Right. And hopefully I'll get to a point in my life where I feel like I want to hide my cards for that level of a high match. But at the moment, I'm just like, hey, if someone beats me at my best, they beat me at my best, and that's the way it is. It
does happen. There have been times where I follow more bodybuilding and powerlifting. There have been times where guys have a huge contest coming up, or so on and so forth, and then they disappear from social media. But then there are guys that they just care about the social media presence because their endorsements, make it necessary, and they're mostly on. But
content equals cash, and then
listen, you have to do what you have to do to make a living. I totally get it.
Everyone's got a price. I'll sell out if someone wants to pay me.
Are you kidding? I sell.
Yeah,
listen. I make this joke, right? Who was I make this joke. Kaepernick, right? He took the knee and he lost like an $11 million contract.
Yeah.
Right. And for something that he believed in, whether people want to, believe it or not, but it's something, whatever. I go into, I'm a sewer worker, and I do electrical work on the side.
Yeah.
So I have like a little side business where I do electrical work. I sell out every weekend at somebody's house for a few $100 to a few $1,000.
Exactly.
And as soon as I walk in, if I see that MSNBC is on, I'm automatically a liberal.
Yeah.
If I walk on and I see Fox News is on, I'm automatically a conservative.
If
I'm
that butters up your customer to make a sale, like
I would give.
yeah.
I said this guy gave up $11 million. I wouldn't give up $250 to change a receptacle.
No. Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my dignity, it has a price. Totally.
Yeah, no question. Listen,
Totally.
no,
I'm okay with it.
Cash is king, and politics is not really that important to me. So,
hey, people who say money doesn't buy you happiness are some boring, sad people on the inside. Let me tell you what.
Oh yeah,
Money will solve every problem that I have.
It's the God's honest truth. I hate to say it. I mean, I think what happens is when you get to a certain level of money, it brings other problems.
Bigger problems. True.
Yeah, but
True.
I think people that make money, like, how can I say this? Like, if you're breaking over six figures, you know, if you're breaking 100,000 to, let's say, 200,000, 250, let's say you're in that category.
Yeah.
That resolves a lot of problems. I think once you go past that, especially for men, I think once you go past $250,000 a year, especially for men, it brings a whole new bunch of problems. And one of those problems is gold diggers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll tell you one funny story. And I'm a huge boxing fan. I don't know if you could see, but in the back I have a picture of me and Muhammad Ali. I don't know if you can see that.
Snap.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Cool. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I was like 26 years old. Anyway, so I saw this interview with Mike Tyson when he was like 19 years old, and he was on this late night talk show. I don't think he was even the champ yet. And the next guy on was Jake LaMotta. Jake LaMotta was the middleweight champion during World War II, and this is back in the 80s. And Jake LaMotta said, the host said to Jake, do you have any advice you want to give Mike? And Jake LaMotta said, well, you know, you're going to have to watch out for the ladies. They're going to be throwing yourself at them.
Yeah.
And obviously Mike didn't listen because,
yeah.
but it was the God's honest truth. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Oh, absolutely. It is though.
So, okay, let's talk about something really serious that happened to you. Robert Kelly and the sandwich match. And apparently you guys have a sandwich match coming up.
Yeah, we do. He's going to make me one. So I'm excited about that. Okay. I've put in my order. So.
So tell us what happened between you and Robert Kelly.
All right. Well, there's Arm Wrestling Uncensored Facebook group, and I don't remember who put the question out, if it was David Kotlau or someone else, but someone said, why don't we get more women at tournaments? Why don't more women show up at arm wrestling tournaments? And he put in a comment there that said, probably because they don't have a kitchen at the tournaments. And no joke, that comment alone, I think it ended up from there were literally hundreds of comments just stemming from his. So so we thought, what a better way to settle this than for a woman to step up and call him out. And I actually had an idea. Mm-hmm. Let's make this loser makes the winner a sandwich, and took off.
Okay. All right.
So that's what we got right now. As soon as it's gonna have to wait till next year. Robert currently has some health things to work out. So basically I'm ready to jump as soon as he's ready. And I said, sure, take as long as you need to, man, because I don't want any excuses. You better come to me at your best, because that's when I'll beat you.
Do you think that he's really sick, or do you think he's just scared?
Oh, well, he's definitely scared, whether he's sick or not. He's absolutely scared. But the community's asking questions. They're like, well, when is this going to come on? I'm seeing the comments. So people aren't forgetting. So whether it's sick and scared or just scared,
okay,
I think it's going to happen. And I think I've talked with David too. He's interested in making sure the match happens. So
David who?
Kotlau. So he's the guy who started the Arm Wrestling Uncensored Facebook page group.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's got like 5 different accounts now that all sound like his name because he keeps getting zucked. But yeah.
So what kind of sandwich are you gonna make you?
Is this an adult channel?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Because there was some mention that he might have some jam with a little THC infused in there, and I was like, you know what? Sounds good to me.
So you're just gonna make a jam sandwich?
Peanut butter and jelly, but
man.
see, originally I was like, I like just a good old ham sandwich. You give me your just a good hunk of bread, lettuce, arugula is my favorite, ham, cheese, maybe a little mustard, call it a day. I'm not that complicated. That's just a good sandwich right there. Put a pickle on it, maybe some tomato. We got a good sandwich.
See, it's a good thing I'm not arm wrestling a sandwich because I'm Italian, and first of all, in order to make me a sandwich, you're gonna have to like get an Italian translation dictionary.
Oh, we're gonna start on ciabatta here, and we're gonna have some, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're ever in New York or New Jersey, you give me a call and I'll take you to great Italian delis and make great sandwiches.
Perfect. I'll tell you what, I so far haven't met a non-rotten food that I haven't liked. So I love food just in general. So whatever it is, I'll probably like it, Okay.
All right. So Robert Kelly and you are going to arm wrestle. And if he loses, he's making you a sandwich.
When he loses. Yeah.
When he loses. Sorry. He's making you a sandwich.
Yeah.
Has he told you what kind of sandwich he wants to make you?
What sandwich he wants? I'm sure he has, but I did not commit it to memory because I won't need that information.
You won't need it. Yeah. Okay. So if you could describe Robert Kelly, how would you describe him?
Oh, geez, should have prepared for this one so I could have come up with some really good language. But mostly, I would just say it looks very crushable.
Yeah, you're gonna crush.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's a hard words from a hard
Well,
woman.
sometimes some faces are punchable. Some people just look crushable. You know what I mean?
you just gave me.
Have you seen that? I mean, what are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that?
Nah, nobody's gonna shoot. Robert's got nothing. She's got nothing on that. Got nothing. I think you just gave me my TikTok video for this. There's no question about it. Absolutely, 100%. Well, Michelle, I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely have you on again. We're gonna have Martha Swick on with you, hopefully.
That'd be fantastic.
What would be funny would be if we can get Robert Kelly on with you before the sandwich match.
Totally be down. That'd be fun.
I tried looking him up on Instagram and Facebook. I couldn't find him. I don't know.
You know what? I'll send you a link to his profile.
Okay. The only Robert Kelly I found was a comedian, Bob Kelly. That was it.
Oh, I wonder if he's got something hidden or whatever. But yeah, I can send you a link to his profile.
All right, definitely.
We'll get that worked out.
Yeah, we'll definitely reach out to him, and
I think he'd relish the opportunity to talk shit back to me. So.
All right, good. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Danielle, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and good luck to you. And I know the future is going to have it's going to be a bright future for you because you're
thank you.
Pleasure to speak with and a tremendous young woman.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks.
No problem.